A chip surgically implanted by a robot and connected by threads to a patient's brain that allows the patient to control a computer or smartphone with their mind.
You know, we're always hearing about Elon Musk's latest gadgets and gizmos, and let's be real, I've definitely fantasized about taking one of them for a spin.
Tesla made quite the splash at the recent Cybercab event by showcasing its humanoid Optimus robots alongside the introduction of the new Tesla Robovan vehicle. The Optimus robots were seen walking out as part of the grand reveal.
I mean, who wouldn't want to ride in a Tesla, zip around in the Hyperloop, or maybe even launch yourself into space, right? But while these inventions are super cool, they're also pretty darn terrifying. It's like that one friend who shows up with a shiny new toy, full of excitement, saying, "Don't worry, it's totally safe." Yeah, well, I'm not volunteering as the guinea pig. Now, don't get me wrong, some of Musk's creations are honestly pretty awesome, but there are a few that might just be a little more dangerous than advertised. For instance, 10th Colossus, the AI supercomputer. We've all got some pretty strong opinions about Elon Musk, right? Some days, I can't tell if I'm all about his mind-blowing innovations or shaking my head at how fast he's pushing things. And remember, about 10 years ago, Musk warned that tinkering with AI was like summoning the demon. Fast forward to today, he's not only summoning it, he's practically building the whole damn inferno, Colossus. AI is moving faster than most of us can even wrap our heads around, and we're starting to realize this thing might be a lot bigger than we ever imagined. But what happens when that power gets concentrated into one massive machine? Well, say hello to Colossus, Musk's latest beast. A supercomputer so powerful it could make everything else look outdated. Or, depending on how things go, it could be the start of something we won't be able to control. Musk's not just building Colossus for kicks. This isn't your average data center just doing its thing in the background. This beast is packing 100,000 NVIDIA GPUs. Seriously, that's next level processing power. And it was built in just 19 days. Yes, you heard that right. While most projects like this would take months or even years. I mean, impressive, sure, but also pretty unsettling. So, what's the rush? According to Musk, xAI, the company behind Colossus, is all about making AI safer and helping it develop in a way that actually benefits humanity. Sounds good so far, right? But here's the thing. AI isn't just about making our lives easier. It's about who's holding the reins. And when Musk builds a beast like Colossus, the question isn't just what it can do, it's what it will do. And here's the real kicker. AI centers aren't just sucking up electricity. They're also guzzling down water at a ridiculous rate. In fact, a single data center can use millions of gallons of water per day to keep those systems cool. So, while we're all worried about AI taking over jobs, we might want to start thinking about how many gallons of water are being drained just to keep these systems running. When you consider how many AI projects are popping up, the real question becomes, how long can we keep this up before the planet starts running out of the stuff we need to survive? 9. xAI's Grok, the AI that's learning too fast. Alright, now that we've got Colossus out of the way, let's talk about what it's actually making possible, Grok. And trust me, this is where things get real interesting, or real freaky, depending on how you look at it. This isn't your average chatbot that just answers basic questions. Nah, Grok is built to handle some seriously complex tasks, pushing the limits of what AI can actually do. And get this, Grok 3, the next version, is rumored to be 10 times more powerful than the last one. So yeah, we're talking a whole new level of processing power and way more smart interactions. Basically, it's AI that can think on its feet and handle way more than we've ever seen before. So what's the deal? Well, Grok's about to get integrated into Tesla cars. You're going to be able to talk to your car like it's your best friend, controlling everything with just your voice. But that's just scratching the surface. Colossus is powering this bad boy, so Grok's not just some assistant. It's becoming a whole new way we interact with AI, whether it's on the road, at home, or in any part of our lives. It's going to handle conversations, make decisions, and even manage tasks that could affect real-world stuff. It's like having a personal assistant that's always learning, always adapting, and, well, it might start getting a little too smart for its own good. Here's the catch, though. As cool as that sounds, it's also kind of freaky, right? Because when you give something this powerful the ability to make decisions, manage tasks, and maybe even control parts of your life, where does the line get drawn? I mean, we're talking about a machine that could potentially think for itself and handle stuff that's super important. So yeah, while Grok might be able to make your life easier, it's also got the power to influence decisions in ways we might not even realize. Some of of which could get a little sketchy. And with Colossus backing it up, we're talking about something that could evolve way beyond our control. It's all cool and futuristic until it starts making choices that affect more than just you and your car. The real danger isn't what Grok can do now. It's where it could go when it starts thinking on its own. But Grok is just the voice of Musk's AI empire. What happens when that intelligence takes a physical form?
Musk further elaborated that the Optimus robot could practically do anything, including walking your dog, babysitting, or mowing the lawn.
8. Optimus, the robot that could steal your job. Okay, so we've seen how Grok's shaping the future of AI in the digital world, but now let's talk about what happens when that brainpower gets a body. Enter Optimus, Tesla's humanoid robot. Optimus isn't just some sci-fi fantasy anymore, it's real, and it's starting to do things that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. Optimus is more than just a robot that can carry an 11-kilogram tray, without overheating, mind you. It's leveling up fast. Now it can take stairs, navigate spaces with new ambient maps, and even auto-dock itself, meaning it can recharge and keep working on its own. There's literally no need for human intervention. I mean, that's some serious autonomy. It's moving beyond simple tasks into more complex, human-like actions. It's learning and adapting to new environments in real time, getting smarter and smarter as it moves around. So yeah, the robot's leveling up fast. Now, if you've seen movies like The Terminator or I, Robot, you might be thinking, wait, aren't these the types of robots that go rogue? I know I am. Yes, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's not totally out of the realm of impossibility if AI like Optimus continues to evolve. After all, these robots are built to learn, adapt, and think for themselves. And once that starts happening, things could get a little unpredictable. If Optimus can handle complex tasks and even make decisions based on its environment, what happens when it starts deciding for itself what's best? It's not just about making life easier anymore. It's about jobs, like a lot of jobs. If Optimus can take over physical tasks like carrying trays or doing heavy lifting, a lot of people in physical labor roles could find themselves out of work. Sure, we're probably safe from getting replaced by a robot for now, but what about the millions of people out there working retail, construction, or in warehouses? They might not be so lucky. It's a strange line to walk. Optimus could make our lives easier, or it could be the start of a new set of problems we're not prepared for. But what if I told you this wasn't just about robots taking over our jobs or getting a little too smart? What if they were about to take over our rides too? 7. The robo-taxi reality. Alright, take a moment to set the scene with me. You're out and about, maybe grabbing dinner with friends, or you've just had one too many at happy hour. We've all been there, right? It's late, you're ready to go home, and you pull up your ride-sharing app. You're expecting the usual, your standard Uber or Lyft, when out of nowhere, a sleek driverless Tesla Cybercab pulls up. No human, just a car. Now, let's pause and really picture this. You step in, and there's no steering wheel, no pedals, no rear-view mirror. It's just you, the two-passenger car, and the silent hum of tech doing all the work. The car's driving itself, and you're just along for the ride. Cool, right? You might even think, wow, I'm living in the future. But hold up, let's talk about the part we're not thinking about. First off, who's really in control here? The car, the AI, or the company that's running all this? Sure, we're loving the convenience now, but what happens when that autonomous car gets hacked, or worse, when it malfunctions? Do you want to be stuck in a car that suddenly decides to take a detour, speed through a red light, or worse? Yeah, that's not as fun anymore, is it? And let's be real here for a second. What happens when these robo-taxis become the norm? It's not just about you hopping into a cool, futuristic ride. It's about millions of people losing jobs. The drivers who depend on ride-sharing for a paycheck. The mechanics who work on cars. All of them. Are we really ready to toss aside so many workers just for the sake of convenience? We might be fine, but what about the people who rely on these jobs to make a living? Okay. Let's backtrack for a second. Let's rewind to that scene we set earlier. You're out there looking for a ride, and you summon your robo-taxi. Easy, right? You hop in, settle back, and off you go. No driver, no awkward small talk. Everything's smooth. But here's where it gets real. As you're zipping through the city, you start to realize, wait a minute, this thing doesn't just take you from point A to point B. It knows you. It knows your habits, your routes, your preferences, and guess what? The more you ride, the more it learns. That data, all being collected, stored, analyzed. Sure, it's convenient for now, but down the line, that's when the red flags start popping up. privacy? Yeah, that's slipping through the cracks faster than you can say self-driving car. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's coming, and it's coming fast. So let's ask ourselves, are we really ready to trust our lives, our jobs, and our privacy to a car that has no soul, no emotions, and definitely no accountability? I know I'm not. Now let's take this up a notch, way up into the sky.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
6. Starshield. The sky's not the limit anymore. So let's talk Starshield. It's basically an upgraded version of SpaceX's Starlink, but for the military. The whole point of Starshield is to provide high-speed, super secure satellite communication, real-time data transfer, and even surveillance in some of the most remote places on Earth. In fact, the US Marine Corps used it during a joint exercise with the Swedish Marine Corps and found that it helped them coordinate operations, even during complex missions. Sounds pretty cool, right? But here's where it gets a little sketchy. On the surface, Starshield might seem like the perfect tool for military ops, right? But think about this. It's being run by a private company, SpaceX. So while it's amazing for military ops, it also means a private corporation has a ton of control over the system. Now, I'm not saying SpaceX is plotting world domination, although it's Elon Musk, so who knows? But it's worth wondering what happens if that control gets abused, or if someone hacks into the system. Could be trouble, right? Now, imagine an AI integrated into Starshield, not just managing data, but actually making decisions based on what it's learning. That's right, AI that can analyze, adapt, and potentially even make calls on military strategy or sensitive data. Pretty wild, right? I'm talking about a system that could learn and adapt faster than we can keep up with, and that's where things could get out of hand. With AI running the show, there's no telling what it might do or who it could end up serving. It's like handing the keys to the kingdom over to something that doesn't even know what right or wrong means. Plus, no system is bulletproof. Starshield might be super high tech, but it's not immune to attacks. Hackers could still definitely target it. Throw AI into that equation, and you've got a whole new level of complexity. What happens if AI starts making the decisions for us and gets hijacked in the process? We could be in a situation where sensitive military data, or even control of military operations, is at risk. Yikes.
Is an experimental implantable brain-computer interface, or BCI. A chip surgically implanted by a robot and connected by threads to a patient's brain that allows the patient to control a computer or smartphone with their mind.
5. Neuralink, AI in the human brain. All right, we've taken it to the skies with Starshield. Now, let's land this plane back down on Earth, right into our heads. Yep, you heard me, the human brain. You've probably heard of Neuralink by now, Elon Musk's big brain-computer interface project. As of 2025, it's actually in human trials, and it could be a pretty big game changer for how we interact with tech. Musk is literally chipping people. Yep, implanting tiny devices directly into human brains. Take Nolan Arbaugh, for example. Nolan, a 30-year-old who suffered a spinal cord injury while swimming back in 2016, is the first person to get one of these Neuralink devices. Now, he can control a computer with his mind. He sends messages, surfs the web, and even plays video games without lifting a finger. For Nolan, Neuralink isn't just a gadget, it's a life-changing boost in independence. So, what exactly is Neuralink? It's a brain-computer interface, a tiny implant designed to monitor and stimulate your brain activity. The current goal is to help folks with paralysis or neurological issues regain some lost functions, like communicating or moving around. Down the line, there's talk about potentially enhancing cognitive abilities, like improving memory and focus. It's kind of like getting a software upgrade for your brain. Now, while Neuralink isn't AI-powered, it's still a huge leap into merging technology with our very thoughts. And here's where we need to hit pause and ask some big questions. Sure, the idea of chipping people to restore lost functions sounds amazing, but what happens when we start opening up our brains to direct digital access? Even without AI in the mix, there's a lot to worry about, like the potential for interference with our thoughts, emotions, or even memories. Imagine if, in the future, these devices are used not just for health, but to influence behavior or decision-making. It might be a stretch today, but once you're wired in, who's to say what could happen down the road? The thought of having technology that's that intimately connected to our minds is both exciting and, frankly, a little scary. Neuralink is just one piece of Musk's growing empire of high-tech disruptions. But while brain implants are all about rewiring the human body, let's talk about something a little more old school: rockets. Not just any rockets. Rockets that can land, refuel, and take off again, changing the way we access space, and potentially the way wars are fought. 4. Reusable rockets, Musk's space-age arsenal. SpaceX's Falcon rockets are designed with reusability in mind, which is honestly a pretty huge deal. Traditionally, launching a rocket meant burning through billions of dollars for a one-way trip. With the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy, SpaceX has flipped that model on its head. Instead of dumping billion-dollar rockets into the ocean after one use, these bad boys touch back down, get a tune-up, and go right back up again. Efficient, cost-effective, and, let's be real, ridiculously cool to watch. But here's the elephant in the room. The US military is actually very interested in these rockets, and not just for launching satellites. They're thinking bigger, like using them to send cargo or even troops anywhere in the world in under an hour. That's right, instead of waiting on cargo planes, imagine the military loading up a rocket and zipping supplies across the globe at record speed. The Pentagon has been seriously looking into this, and if that doesn't make you raise an eyebrow, I don't know what will. And if I'm talking military use, I can't ignore the less friendly applications. A rocket that can carry supplies can also carry other things. The kind of things that make people nervous when they hear words like military payloads. I'm not saying Musk is building space weapons, but when you have the technology to launch and land massive payloads with pinpoint accuracy, people start asking questions. Right now, the focus is on making space travel cheaper and more accessible. But if history has taught us anything, it's that when something can be used for defense, it usually will be. So, while Musk talks about Mars colonies and interplanetary travel, his reusable rockets might end up shaping warfare on Earth first.
You can go ahead, I think.
How fast is this?
This is still slow. We're only doing 30 miles an hour.
Oh my God, oh my
We'll
God,
speed
oh
up
my God.
after we get around the corner.
This isn't just any tunnel.
We can get 100, no problem, but we'll take it easy for you.
3. The Boring Company's underground ventures. Alright, so we've talked about Musk launching rockets, chipping brains, and building AI supercomputers. But what if I told you he's also really into digging holes? Enter the Boring Company, because apparently nothing is off limits when it comes to Musk's empire. Now, the official story is simple. Tunnels are the future. The idea? Cut down on traffic by sending cars underground. If you've seen those Tesla-packed tunnels in Vegas, you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like a high-speed hamster tube for humans. Musk envisions these underground highways snaking beneath major cities, making travel faster, cheaper, and, hopefully, less rage-inducing. But the Boring Company isn't just about making your morning commute less of a nightmare. Their tunneling machines, especially the latest one, Proof Rock, are designed to dig fast, like really fast. We're talking a mile per week, which blows traditional boring machines out of the water. That kind of speed could completely change how underground networks are built, making massive infrastructure projects way more feasible. And that's where things start getting interesting. Because if you can dig a tunnel for a Tesla, you can also dig a tunnel for, well, other things. The military has always had an interest in underground infrastructure. Think secret bunkers, rapid troop movement, and, let's be honest, some James Bond villain-level hideouts. The Pentagon is no stranger to underground warfare, and you can bet they've noticed what the Boring Company is doing. Now, am I saying Musk is secretly building doomsday bunkers? Number. But let's not pretend governments and defense contractors aren't paying very close attention. If you can carve out a tunnel in record time, that's a game changer for more than just traffic. And let's be real, when has a new technology ever not ended up with some kind of military application? So, while the Boring Company is selling us a future of seamless underground travel, there's a good chance those tunnels might not just be for Teslas. Just something to keep in mind the next time Musk tweets about digging holes for fun.
You can go anywhere on Earth, anywhere. Like, you can actually go to, like, the top of Mount Everest. There's no place you can't go, anywhere. So I think we've explored the boundaries, at least the physical boundaries of Earth, quite thoroughly.
This is the future of high-speed transportation. It's 3.5 times faster than Japan's Shinkansen bullet trains, and even faster than a Boeing 747.
2. Hyperloop, the high-speed dream. Imagine zooming at over 700 miles per hour inside a sleek pod, shooting through a near vacuum tube. Doesn't sound real, right? But that's the idea behind the Hyperloop. Elon Musk's vision for travel so fast that even the longest train journeys would feel like a breeze. The idea is pretty simple. Send pods through low-pressure tubes to eliminate air resistance, making it possible to blast between cities in no time. Companies like Hyperloop T are already pushing it forward, and it feels like we're just on the edge of seeing it become a reality. But here's the thing. This isn't your average commute. Going 700 miles per hour in a pod means we're talking about some serious risks. A tiny crack in the tube or any malfunction could quickly turn into a disaster. At that speed, a small issue could spiral out of control in the blink of an eye. Plus, imagine the G-force from reaching that kind of speed so quickly. It could make your stomach do flips, literally. And for some people, that's not just uncomfortable, it's a health risk. And let's not forget about the price tag. The energy needed to keep the whole system running, plus the environmental costs of building it, could make the green benefits feel a little less shiny. Now, where this really gets interesting, and kind of scary, is when you think about how easily Hyperloop could be repurposed for military use. Speed, stealth, and quick deployment of troops or supplies. It's a perfect fit. Sure, it sounds cool for civilians, but don't kid yourself. The potential for misuse is right there on the horizon. One, from Mars to missiles. You know, I've always wanted to go to Mars, just hanging out with some Martians, sipping on space coffee, you know? But it turns out Musk's grand plan for Starship might actually get us there. If, you know, we're all still alive by then. See, Starship isn't just a cute little spacecraft to carry tourists to space. It's got some serious potential as a heavy-duty transport. Sure, its main job is to ferry humans to Mars and make interplanetary travel a thing. But let's just say it could also have a much darker side. Musk's idea for Starship is that it's fully reusable, which means it could launch, land, and repeat ad nauseum without missing a beat. So, with that kind of versatility, who's to say it couldn't be used for rapid, high-stakes military operations? We're talking about a spacecraft that could carry massive payloads, everything from satellites to military-grade weapons. And because it can land anywhere on Earth in less than an hour, you could basically have a global weapon delivery system. Imagine that. The ability to send stuff anywhere on the planet at lightning speed. Musk himself has even flirted with the idea of Starship's military applications, hinting at its potential as a global missile system. So, while it's easy to think of Starship as just a cool, ambitious project to take us to Mars, there's another side of it that could be a little weaponized. Not exactly the interplanetary peace mission we might have hoped for, huh? And that's all from me today. So, do you think I've convinced you, or are you still willing to bet on Musk's shiny new toys? Space rockets, brain chips, self-driving cars, missiles. What's next? Let me know what you think in the comments. See you next time.